Executive Officer and the founder of Dataskill. Nigel?
Woo! Chair at the end.
Financial services, for the longest of time, has been the leader in the application of information technology. Think systems of record, right? That's where it came from. ATMs, go back decades. They've always been on the forefront of technology. With one exception. That exception is the operations of trade finance, which really, in my opinion, is really the heart of the banking system. It's where trades are actually processed. This trade finance operations is still a holdout of automation. It's actually the last bastion of manual processed work where you have all these intelligent, skilled people pouring through documents, reading them, understanding them, and entering that data into a keyboard. It used to be a typewriter, yes, but now a keyboard. And so that process is very inefficient. It's like having 10 lanes on a freeway, coming down at high speed to one lane. Utter congestion, right? So let me tell you about this. This is a weak link in a big chain. It's a very big chain. The World Trade Organization states that global trade is about a $40 trillion industry, give or take a few trillion, I guess. And they also state that 80 to 90% of those trades are financed. So either way you look at it, global trade finance is at least a $30 trillion industry. $30 trillion. So imagine now you're having shipping manifests, invoicing, bills of lading, letters of credit, documents with legal consequences, flowing off dot matrix printers, sometimes on a ship, maybe at a port, out in the rain. Cell phones don't work that well, right? It's a very, very difficult environment to transfer data. And so this industry in this area is heavily reliant on thousands of people. Our client has 4,000 people, highly skilled people. It's an aging population. These skills take a long time to read and understand these legal documents. And sometimes they're very messy. They may be smudged, they don't get OCR'd well. Some people stamp the address in the wrong box. They'll put the amount of a transaction in the account number field. It's very high amount of errors that you see in these type of documents. And so people are doing this day by day, by hand. In actual fact, humans are very good at doing this. Intuitively, a human can actually look at a page, see maybe the vessel number's missing, maybe flick through and find out if there's a vessel number there which matches this particular trade. So humans are intuitively very good at doing this. But in addition, while they're doing this, they also have to be looking out for screening sanctions. Very, very difficult job. It's slow, it's expensive, and it's not scalable. Lots of errors. And at the end of the day, it determines who gets paid or not. This is a major risk, a serious risk for our client, which is actually one of the largest banks in global trade finance. And we're working with them in their main area, hub area in Singapore. And they're the #1 rated global trade finance bank in the frontier marketplaces. This is like Africa, the Middle East, Latin America, all the growth markets. So it's a business which is growing very rapidly. So what we did is we set about automating this system. And basically it comes into 3 areas. And I'll mention the products first. So it uses DataCap for the OCR, uses Watson Explorer for the natural language processing. It also uses IBM content classification, and it uses Dataskill's Akumi algorithm, data find and data learn. So what this does is it automates the reading of these documents, interpreting these documents, extracting all of these fields, and automatically putting them into the trading system. And to do that, to do that effectively is actually a very hard problem to solve. And so a key part of that is not only finding the right machine learning algorithm, because they're 10 a penny out there, but it's finding the right method which applies to this specific problem, and then actually morphing it into the workplace, forming a system, a user experience, which mimics the way these 4,000 people work. So it doesn't interrupt them, but it's looking at what they do. It's seeing how they capture these clues of where the missing data or the smudged data is. Then actually feeding that back into the machine learning algorithm so that it learns and gets better. You might ask yourself, because this is really the centerpiece for me of being here on the stage, and that's how did a company, our company is based out of San Diego, about 45 people, how do we get the opportunity to do this for one of the world's largest banks across the other side of the planet? And what's important about this is that having such a large customer with this mass amount of data, it really helps to transform these algorithms, so keep that in mind. But it really, so we developed this algorithm many years ago, and I think there is a difference in the way business partners think compared to IBM, right? Not better, not worse, but different. We're potentially more entrepreneurial driven, right? Maybe there's a different style of energy. There's a different relationship with our customers. Maybe this intimacy with customers actually sparks this ingenuity. But you take that, we created this Akumi algorithm, what are we going to do with it? Working with IBM, we were able to place it in this opportunity. So it's the power to be able to leverage the IBM brand, not around the world, the IBM presence around the world. And most importantly, I think, for that is the IBM products and platform. But at the end of the day, what that gets you to the table to compete in a deal like this, but what really wins it is this disruptive technology, and that's what we delivered here. So you may ask yourself, what's next? And one of the most interesting things about artificial intelligence is, I'm not sure we really know where it's going to go, right? But in this case, we have 4,000 experts that are working day by day as this solution becomes fully operational. These experts are training this machine on how to interpret all this messy data automatically. So the speed and the precision goes way up. The scalability now is pretty much infinite. And now every transaction can be screened for sanctions and compliance with regulations and other nefarious activity. This is going to revolutionize the world. And we're here with this technology. We're all in the same boat where we can share that the future is starting now. Thank you.
Thank you, Nigel. Thank you. Really well done. So, you started talking a bit about how this is a leading bank in Singapore. You're not in Singapore, right? You're an AI firm, right? So how do you talk a little bit more about how do you make all that happen? I mean, it doesn't just happen like that, right? It must take a little while.
Yeah, it didn't happen overnight. It could have. I mean, timing is one thing, right? Timing is. This actually was a very long sales cycle, about 2.5 years, which gave us time though to build a solution for the problem they had. This actually went out to bid, competitive bid, RFP, and we won it with IBM. And so what enabled though is the time it took during the sales cycle to develop the right algorithm, to match the right methods to solve this problem. And that really is the key to being persistent in the sales cycle and being able to get the right technology into the solution, right? So we've been down this path for a partner with IBM for 21 years now. And we've had lots of opportunity the last few years with partnering with Watson. We've opened offices in the UK, in Latin America, Canada, and now Singapore, right? So it's really transformed our business. But it's actually more than just Dataskill and IBM. as you mentioned earlier, I think John mentioned, right, it's a very powerful ecosystem. And we got a lot of help from Ingram Micro, who's our 20-year IBM distributor. And we also had help from two partners. We're working with two partners on this solution. One of them may be here. If you're here, Sridhar, thank you, by the way. And it's really together, this is a $30 trillion marketplace. So I want to, if it's okay with you, Martin, I'd like to invite my fellow business partners here. If you'd like to contact me, Nigel Hook on LinkedIn is probably the easiest way. If you've got skills and want an explorer, if you've got clients that are in trade finance, let's get together. Let's make a dent in this $30 trillion market.
Terrific. Thank you very much. So, by the way, this is always selling, and 30 trillion. I mean, that's got to get somebody excited. Even we get excited about 30 trillion. So, I'd like to thank all of our partners here who told their stories. It's really clear that with